Welcome to this daily guided meditation practice. This is the Attentive Mind. My name is Nathan, and I'll be guiding you through this meditation practice today. Find yourself a seated position. The goal, as always, with the position is to find something comfortable and sturdy. You don't want to be uncomfortable because then you're distracted by how uncomfortable your body is. You also don't want to be unsturdy, unstable, because then it feels the sense of stability really adds a calming nature to the vagus nerve, to our minds. So being stable is really nice, keeps us still. Just find what works for you. You can sit in a chair, you can lie down, just find what works for you, as long as it's stable and comfortable. We also keep our eyes open during this practice, but of course, and as always, if you prefer to keep your eyes closed during the practice, go ahead and do so. There are no hindrances here. But if your eyes are open, go ahead and just leave the screen alone and drop your gaze down below you, kind of glancing at the floor or the desk or whatever is just below you. We're not staring or analyzing anything. We're also not zoned out and blurry. We just have a gentle, clear gaze directed softly and clearly downwards. You're in a nice, comfortable, and sturdy position. Your eyes are either closed or open, and gaze is down. Forget everything you know about meditation. Forget your ideas about what you're doing here. If you come here for a particular reason, that reason should stop the moment we begin the practice. You are here. That's all. So just take a few moments and relax the body, relax the mind. Just settle here, as if there's nowhere to go, nothing to do, and no one to become. Just sitting for no purpose, just relaxing with no goal. And are you attentive now to this moment? Or are you lost in some thought? In other words, did I interrupt you thinking about something? And notice how when we are lost in our thoughts, we no longer know this moment as it is. We lose our eyes and ears and nose and tongue and body because we're thinking we're somewhere else. Which is no problem. But instead of noticing thoughts, notice the breath wherever you feel it the most. Notice the gentle rhythm the body makes as it breathes in and out. Your thoughts will keep chattering, and that's because they happen automatically, like your heartbeat. You don't create thinking, it happens by itself. So just leave it alone and remain with the breath, rising and falling. And maybe I'm catching you thinking again. No problem. Just return to the breath. Let thinking think what it wants to. It will keep going on, but no problem. Return to breathing. Come back. Come back to breathing. Wake up. Wake up from thinking. Return to breathing, rising and falling. All right, you can look at the screen. I don't know if you can hear the other, I have some chimes outside, big chimes. So that's what the other ringing is if you're hearing it. We all go through difficult emotion. I've been going through it recently. Sometimes it's takes over, sometimes it doesn't. And what's important to understand, I think, in relation to practice and what it's doing is it's allowing us to see our mind for what it really is. We always kind of get trapped by our thoughts or by our emotions. And we spiral, as they say. But it always starts somewhere. And if we learn to pay attention to our mind, we can see that happening more and more. We can see the triggers that initiate the negative response, such as anger, anxiety, depression. Um, Even sometimes we wake up and we have these emotions and we don't know why, and that's okay too. But for a lot of us, especially if they're persistent emotions, like for me, it's anxiety. And if they're persistent, I can catch the thought. So if I'm mindful and paying attention to what's happening in the mind, when the thought arises of, oh, something horrible may happen in the future, boom, instead of me clinging on and being like, oh no, but then, yeah, you're right, and I can't deal with those consequences, and then just kind of this small snowball effect, I could see that and be like, oh, that's a trigger. I'm gonna let that go. You catch it early. We can see when that kind of arises and then passing. But this is a practice. I have to be honest. It is a practice. You will get caught up. You will get caught up, even if, especially for things that are kind of ingrained in our minds. Like if you have a particular emotion that you go through and it continues on and you're like, when will this end? Meditation isn't working for me. Well, there's a bit of an activeness to it. You can see your mind and you notice the things that trigger it. Maybe a certain action that triggers it, or a person, or a object even, a situation. When you're feeling stressed, notice what you're thinking about. It might be you're thinking about your giant to-do list and you just feel this deep depression or whatever. The more we practice, the more available our awareness of our own mind is. And we can alleviate problems before they even begin. Which is why I have recently, and I do this from time to time, but encourage practicing on your own, to take what you learn here and do it on your own. Because it's good to have, a voice to help you uh, have a little reminder of coming back to the breath, coming back to the breath, and then turning and looking, what am I? But if you can't do that without the internet connection, you're SOL. These meditations are here to assist your own daily practice, not to be a substitute for it. The strength comes in your own practice and to be able to recognize your mind as it is. Waking up is kind of a person-to-person specific thing. The way I learn to leave my thoughts alone won't be the insights you have as well. Similar insights, but in your own way. So you gotta practice on your own. You really do. And if you can find another group of meditators out there who are doing it, practice with them. It's very important. As long as you practice, you can catch things early, before they spiral. Because you're able to see your mind as it is, and not as you wish it to be. Mindfulness is honesty about the way things are. And from there, we can make change. Thank you for showing up today. And as always, and without exception, I'll see you tomorrow.